Over the last 4.5 years, we've tested 6 different Grech strada-ions, thousands and thousands of miles, different climates, different roads, different trips. And one of the things that has stood out to us most is just how few issues we've actually had. And honestly, that can be a tricky thing to talk about. Because when you test vans for a company, some people may assume you're only showing the good parts, or that if something goes wrong, you'll avoid talking about it. But that has never been our agreement with Grech RV. From the very beginning, this relationship has been built on confidence. That is the only reason we agreed to do this. Because we could still be ourselves. We could still be truthful, and we could stand behind something we felt proud to put our name beside. So in this video, we're going to talk about something that did go wrong, and something we had to figure out while we were on the road.
Follow the road into the sky. Never let adventures pass you by. Be free and follow your crazy dreams. We're living our vision in the RV. Come ride with us and you'll be free.
We've made it back to Iowa. We're here at Rhythm City Casino and Resort. We stayed here a few times, probably about 3 different times. I think this makes our 4th time when we're heading back to Iowa from Florida. We'll use this casino. It is part of Harvest Host, but you can stay here. You don't have to be part of Harvest Host. They used to have us all parking on the other side of the casino, but now they have signs when you come in for RV and truck parking. So semis and RVs here. Pulled in last night. There was a few RVs, a Super C, a fifth wheel, and a Class C, I believe. And so Michelle and I stopped at a Planet Fitness that was Joliet, just outside of Chicago. And when we got back in the van from the Planet Fitness, Michelle was looking up on the Garmin system, and she said, our batteries didn't charge that whole drive. And I'm like, oh no, I suppose it threw a belt. So I opened up the hood and looked inside, and the belt was still on there. My next thought was, I wonder if the ARCO regulator isn't communicating. I pulled up the ARCO regulator app, and I noticed that the RPMs was a little funky. They weren't matching. So I was like, oh, I just remembered that for about a week, there's been this kind of a metallic squeak. And I've opened up the hood, and I couldn't find where it was coming from. I tried and tried and tried. I got underneath it, and it just couldn't pinpoint where that squeak was coming from. It either sounded like a pulley was squeaking, like when bearings go out, or sometimes there's too much tension on a belt on a pulley will cause that to happen, or if it was a shroud, a metal cover shroud that was rattling, because when I'd push on the accelerator, that noise would go away. So I could just tell it wasn't in the engine. And well, when I started it there at Planet Fitness, that noise wasn't there, and I'm like, the alternator went bad. I bet that was a bearing on that shaft, where the shaft is, and it's got the pulley and the belt wraps around. Well, inside the shaft, there's the bearings, and they probably went, and that thing's just spinning, and it's not actually turning the inside where all the copper coils are that basically generates the energy to charge. So pretty sure that the alternator went bad. So I called our contact with Grech RV, and just to make sure, there wasn't a fluke, or there was some kind of an update on the ARCO regulator. No, there was no issues. We went over the settings. I told him what I had heard and what I thought it was, and he agreed. He thought for sure that it was the alternator, not the alternator that goes to the engine for the chassis. It's the second alternator, which is an ARCO alternator for charging the house batteries, the lithium-ion batteries when you're driving. So the irony of this whole thing is we're coming up on a year. 2 days from now, we had been in this van for 1 year. Those alternators, they don't go bad like that quick. They just don't. And ARCO's a very good brand. So it was, it's just one of those things. Every once in a while, you'll have that. No matter what RV you have, You can have some of the same parts in multiple different RV brands, makes and models, whatever, and not have any issues with something, but one, there will be. What caused it? Who knows? Not sure. But all I know is it did happen. So what we had to do in Juliet, we were down to like 53% battery, and we knew that would have been fully charged at 100% in the 2 hours that we drove that night. So we knew we had to get a campground to, to keep the batteries charged up. Luckily for us, the temperatures were not hot, so we didn't have to use the air conditioning. If we absolutely need AC, we would just start the engine and run the AC just to, to keep us comfortable, but we didn't have to. So we pulled in late at a campground in Juliet, found it on the, on maps, and just pulled in there. There was an after hours number that was 24/7, called them, and they said, no problem. Charged us $50 for the night. Had batteries fully charged the next day. We didn't have to leave till noon, so we at least got to empty the tanks and fill the fresh water. I mean, it wasn't a complete loss of $50. After noon, we just pulled up to a Walmart and worked, which was yesterday. And so after we were done there, we drove here, and still the batteries were at 97%. We only used 3% batteries because noon is when we disconnected the power, the 30 amp power from this at the campground. So from that point until we got here, we had only used 3% battery. And that's just basically our computers, both Michelle and I's computers being hooked up, phone being charged, and lights on. We did have one light on, and so that just kind of shows you how robust those batteries are. So we're sitting good here. We got plenty of power, and we're gonna finish working here today. Then we got a little over 2 hours of a drive to get to our campground in Des Moines, where we're gonna stay while we're visiting our grandkids and family. Tomorrow's Friday, and then Saturday is when Grech RV is going to be delivering the new van to us, so we'll be able to update you on that and tell you what they've changed, what's new for that, and we'll get that switched out. So we're only going to be in this 2 more days, but we're going to be hooked up to power, so we're not going to have to worry about the batteries running out of power. And plus, this cold weather really helps too, although we don't care for it so much. Tonight, we're going to be driving past the world's largest truck stop.
I know.
I forgot about that. I don't know. We've been there so many times we might not stop. But one place we never get tired of stopping at is Buc-ee's. I wish Iowa would get a Buc-ee's.
That would be great.
We love their brisket. We just like the excitement going in there, and everybody's going crazy like ants on an anthill. Come on, Iowa, step it up. Let's get a Buc-ee's. Couple of them. I-80 would be a great place to have one.
Sunrise slipping through that windshield frame. Another little town, never quite the same. Coffee in the console, camera riding shotgun, chasing down a story from the setting to the sun. GPS says stop, but the soul says roll. Tires on the back road, freedom and control. Every mile's a memory, every turn's a scene. Out here living our vision, running on a dream. It ain't always about where the blacktop ends. It's the folks we meet and the time we spend. Windows down, that old road starts to sing. Then up ahead, that Buc-ee's sign gleams. Buc-ee's and big dreams, rolling down the highway. Windows down, freedom in the old school way. Full hearts, full tank, got a world to see. Making memories 1 mile at a time. Wild and free. From the open road to the places in between. That's the heart of living our vision. Chasing that dream. One more stop before the next big scene.